Hello, entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Sarah. I help heart-centered service providers, creatives, spiritual practitioners build the lives and businesses of their dreams and really build businesses that feel good and feel like them from the inside out. I'm a certified life and business coach based in Los Angeles, California. I'm so excited that you're here. If you're new around here, so glad that you're here. Just take a minute and hit that subscribe button. I put out videos every week and I don't want you to miss any of them. If you're returning, welcome back. Always so glad to have you here. So today I want to talk a little bit about how structure creates softness. I talk a lot about having a soft business, having a soft life, a soft lifestyle. And there are a lot of things that go into that, right? It's not just a sexy hashtag. It really is about creating a business that supports the life you want to be living every day rather than scrambling, working all hours from a place of scarcity and hustle with the idea that someday when I make enough money, then I can prioritize ease and having my days set up the way that I want to have them. We're not waiting for someday around here. We're having our life set up the way we want it, because if I wanted to burn myself out and work a million hours a day, I would just have a day job, right? We did not go into business ourselves just to replicate the structures of a crummy day job. Nobody wants that. And yet, so many service providers and small business owners have this idea that they want to go into business for themselves because they want time freedom. They want more flexibility. They want to be able to travel when they want to travel without asking anyone's permission. They want to be able to take time off. They want more time with their kids. But then when they get into business, they realize they don't really have any model for working like that. We have nothing embodied that has shown us. This one hair is driving me crazy. They have nothing embodied that shows us, like, how do we actually work like that? And so what happens when they set their business up is they go straight into all of their old programming around work, hustle. I have to work really hard. You have to work hard to earn money. How do we know when we've worked hard enough? Like, all of this stuff just comes up and makes it really difficult to remember that we went into business so that we could have more flexibility. So we end up just overpacking our schedules, hustling, right? There's all those jokes about, like, um, if you have an asshole boss and a shitty employee, what does that make you? Like a solopreneur. Like, we just have this relationship to what it means to be an entrepreneur that is so rooted in hustle culture and grind that it's really hard to deliberately opt out and to choose instead to create a business that prioritizes you having the type of time freedom, location freedom, and flexibility that you really want. The best way to do that for yourself is to get with a coach who can help you with different business models, but also who can help you with the inner work of doing the shadow work, the unpacking around all of your belief systems around work and earning and labor and worth and money, because it's all very deep in there and it's all going to show up when you start trying to run a business. So when I talk to people about running a soft business, I think some people have this idea that everything is just completely like flying by the seat of your pants and it's just floating out in the ether, right? When I talk to people about having an intuitive business, they think same thing, like, oh, you're just out there like making decisions on the fly. And in some ways, yeah, but also not at all. Because we still need structure. We still need some stability. We still need plans. We still need the basic business things that any other company needs. It's just that we set ours up a little bit differently, or the things that we prioritize in our business might look a little bit different than a business whose only priority is profits at the expense of literally everything else. So when I say that structure creates softness, this conversation is really important because when I'm working with spiritual practitioners, for example, sometimes I get people who are like, I just want to be in my feminine energy. I just want to be in my flow. I don't like getting into all of the yucky, overly masculine stuff. I don't want to stress myself out with all of this left-brained stuff that like isn't fun for me. When I'm working with creatives, right, it can be the same kind of thing. It's like, I just want to be in flow. I want to work off of my inspiration. I never know when inspiration is going to strike or when it's going to hit. So I have to have all of this flexibility, and I don't like to lock myself into anything. And I think some of it is about having a relationship with structure, with scheduling, with calendars that's based in like school or past jobs, that feels very restrictive. And so we know we don't want something that feels very restrictive. And so we make it a binary. Like either I have to have what I've been modeled, which is really, really rigid. And I know when I was younger, I didn't like it, or I have to have nothing and just be completely free form. I will say you can get away with being completely freeform in some ways for a little while, but there's a lot you can't do that way. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit. There's another option besides it has to be like what I went through in school or in previous jobs or nothing, right? There's first of all, the thing to look at is part of the reason that you may not have liked the rigid structures or schedules that you had in school was because someone else gave them to you and someone else was making you, and it wasn't structured around things you like, you chose, you want to do. That's a completely different experience than building a schedule that is full of things you chose, that are your priorities, that are things you care about, that is what you really want to do. So there's no definite connection to the idea that your experience of creating a schedule for yourself is going to be the same as when a schedule was forced on you and you had no power and no control. It may be that what you didn't like was having no power and no control, not necessarily that you don't like any structure. The other thing about that is like there's an alternative between a completely rigid structure and no structure at all, or being entirely in your feminine, right? We can't necessarily do that. There does need to be, to use those energetic terms, which have nothing to do with gender, but there does need to be a masculine pole always, right? For balance, there needs to be yang and yin. There needs to be go and flow. We cannot be entirely in flow all the time. There are a lot of ways to set up masculine structure in your business so that you as a body can spend the majority of your time in flow, in ease, in receptivity, in creativity, but there's still structures running. And it does mean that you need to, at some points, be in a more left brain, a more yang, a more masculine mindset to decide on and create those structures for yourself so that later you can relax because the structure's in place. So for me, when I say that structure creates softness, part of what I mean by that is when I was beginning to look at how my business was set up and look at the fact that I was overgiving, I was undercharging, I was working a bazillion hours a week. I was working at times that I didn't want to be working. I was taking clients I didn't want to take. It was not sustainable, and I was burning myself out. And I could see if I keep going like this, it is going to make me want to close this business down. This is not what I want for myself. This is not how I want to run a business. Something has to change. And I kept thinking, oh, I'll change it when I make more money. I'll change it when I have more clients. And I've had a bunch of videos where I've talked about this. I'll try to link them below, but this is a pretty common theme. And when I realized that I was going to be waiting forever, if I waited to have more money or if I waited to have more clients from this place of scarcity, I was waiting to get abundance from scarcity so that I could shift into abundance. Not the spiritual laws. If you're a spiritual practitioner, you know that it does not work like that. You can't wait until you have proof that something's going to work before you try to make it work. That's just not how it works. So once I kind of got that that's what was happening and I decided I need to change the structure of my business. Well, what was next was if I want a business that's low stress, I need to get clear on what creates stress in my life. And then I need to figure out how to remove that stress. If I want a business that feels like ease and flow, then I need to get clear on what feels hard and what feels like I'm coming up against obstacles in my business and figure out how to remove those things, right? I have to look at the contrast and then I have to figure out how to remove everything that's not what I want. So for me, something that creates stress, overwhelm, things feeling hard is running out of time, feeling pressed for time, feeling like I don't have enough time to do the work that I want to do, feeling like I don't have enough time to do as good of a job as I'd like to do on that work because things are coming up at the last minute. And things would come up for me a lot at the last minute or be rushed or be scrambled because I had a lack of structure. And in this case, those structures are very straightforward. Do you have an annual sales calendar? Do you have an annual marketing calendar? And from there, do you have a calendar for the work that you're doing, right? These three calendars locking together to support you. What that creates, right? When we have an annual sales calendar, an annual marketing calendar, and then our calendar of understanding when and how we need to do certain types of work, is I know what's coming far enough in advance to be able to plan for things far enough in advance to be able to, first of all, know what am I supposed to be working on any given day. That was also something that used to cause me stress, was being like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be working on. So I would now know what I'm supposed to be working on any given day because I know where we're headed. I know what's required from me in order to take the next steps in a project. An example is Black Friday. I had some years where I was scrambling and behind all through fall. And so then when Black Friday came and it was like a few days away, I was like, I didn't plan anything for Black Friday. And then I would be like, well, shit, I want to get something out for Black Friday. And then I would spend the week of Thanksgiving by myself, scrambling, stressed out, trying to come up with an offer, put together a sales page, put together some emails, and put together a sale in a few days where maybe I made a little bit of money, but maybe not. And like, definitely not what was possible, which is very different than planning Black Friday, the way that I plan it, in the summertime, and how that gives me time to make sure that I'm looking at my sales calendar for next year. So if I'm looking at everything that I'm doing in 2025, then I can create offers for Black Friday, right? One of the last big sale days of the year that's geared toward pre-enrolling people in experiences that I know I'm offering in 2025 or closing out experiences that I was only offering in 2024. If you're a product-based business, closing out inventory that you're going to get rid of in the year ahead can go out in Black Friday. This just helps you understand your entire year. So by looking at this in Q3, I'm able to plan out exactly what it is I want to offer, and it's really strategic and helps set me up for the year ahead. I'm able to write all of the descriptions and the copy and the messaging for what I want this thing to be, which now gives me all of September and October to, if I'm going to have a designer make me a sales page, I can get all of that stuff over to the designer. So now they're not rushed. They have time to get it back to me. We have time to go back and forth on the designs and I can get things locked in and make sure I like them. Or if I'm designing it myself, I have leisurely time to design it over the course of a month where it's not affecting the other work that I'm doing that I'm delivering right now with my current clients. So now I have time to get my designs done. I have time to schedule out all my emails. I have time to set it up so that come November, I'm having a really light, easy month. I could take the whole month of November off. I can take 2 weeks off for Thanksgiving. I can go home and visit family. I can be completely off my computer that entire week because everything was done a long time ago. So by having the structure in place that I do this prep work well in advance, I create softness for myself. Now, of course, I don't only do this once a year. I'm doing it all year long. I have this annual sales calendar that was created. My 2024 sales calendar was created in summer of 2023. Now, yes, I can change it. I have changed it. I've changed my calendar so much this year. That happens. I want to leave room as a creative, as a feminine energy dominant being. I want to leave room for creativity, and I want to leave a margin for magic. I want to leave spaciousness for myself to change my mind. I can do that. But what happens if I don't change my mind? Is it better to have no plan or to have a plan? If I do change my mind, I can rework things and I can look at this and say, okay, well, if I want to change this piece, does it change the whole year? Or does it just change this quarter? Does it just change this month? What's going to change so that I don't later create a panic for myself because I changed my mind in June and I forgot that the program I was supposed to do fed into the next thing. And so now the next thing is going to get thrown up, right? Just by taking the time to implement and maintain this broader vision of having an annual calendar of what needs to be sold, which links right into, okay, well, when does marketing need to happen? And that links right into when do things need to be created? So what work am I doing behind the scenes? By having those things in place, I create the structure that I need in order for my work to never be rushed, to never be overwhelming, to never be so stressful and so scrambly and so at the last minute, to never set myself up in a situation where I have let things go for too long and now I'm panicking and trying to catch up because I've maintained these structures for myself. It gives me a playground to play inside of. It's not all airy-fairy and just completely open. There's room for that, and it is allowed, and I'm still the boss, and I can still change my mind. But there's enough structure that I always know what I should be working on. I never have to rush or panic or scramble to do things. Things have time to be executed properly and well and at a standard that I'm proud of. And then in the delivery of them, I still get to be completely chill and relaxed because I'm always basically ahead in all of my work. I joke that I call this precrastinating, which is getting all of your work done as quickly as possible so that you can fuck off and not have to worry about it. I don't like the feeling of quote unquote relaxing while I have a bunch of work to do, because then I don't know about you, but I'm not really relaxed. I'm just laying there having a slow motion panic attack while I think about all the deadlines I'm behind on. I'm probably a little bit numb, dissociated, checked out, or in functional freeze, right? I'm just staying still. I'm not relaxing. I relax best when I know that everything is under control, when I know that things are handled, when I know that boxes are checked, when I know that I'm clear on what I'm supposed to be working on. Even if my brain pops up and goes, oh, you should be working on blah, 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 I can tell my brain, no, I shouldn't. Remember, we scheduled that for August. You have plenty of time for that. You don't have to worry about it. And my brain goes, oh, you're right. It's on the schedule. I can relax because it's held somewhere. Everything's not just swimming around in my mind. It's attached to some kind of structure. That's what gives me the space to relax, to let go, to be more in my creativity, to be more receptive, is by creating that structure for myself. So I wanted to share this with you. Hopefully it's a little bit eye-opening, maybe a little bit helpful. If you don't have those three pieces of structure in place, if you don't have your annual sales calendar, your annual marketing plan, and then you're able to reverse engineer your own schedule from that, and that's something you would like help with, you can book a call with me. I'd be happy to talk with you about setting that up together in a one-on-one coaching container, in a CEO day. There's a few different ways that we could do that, but that's something I'd be happy to help you with. If you are interested, because I use Black Friday as an example, if you are interested in working together with me through the month of August to get your own Black Friday offer ready, which includes making sure that it is a no-brainer offer that your clients can't resist, making sure that it's a strategic offer for you that sets you up for the month and the year ahead. making sure it's a price point that feels like a really juicy no-brainer deal to people while also potentially setting you up monthly recurring revenue for the year ahead. And then making the delivery of the offer really easy, really exciting, really fun for you, with plenty of time to dial in your messaging, get everything set up and written so that you have time to do your designing, write your emails, get everything scheduled. I am offering a program in August called Black Friday Bankroll. It is a 4-week high touch small group container where we're going to meet twice a week for the whole month of August. The first meeting of the week will be a coaching and teaching call where we're going to work. The whole schedule is listed. I'll put the link below, but we're going to work on one specific aspect. You're going to get a chance to show me your product suite, show me your offer ideas. We will work together to fine tune your offers. All of that type of thing will happen on the coaching calls. The second call every week is a co-working call, because it's not just enough for you to learn this stuff and then shelf it and not do anything. The goal is for you to actually do it all in August. So we're going to co-work together a couple hours a week for the month of August for you to get all of this stuff completely done and dialed, so that in September and October, getting your landing pages and your sales pages together, your checkout pages together, your emails all written and scheduled, so that come winter, when it is time to hibernate, everything is done and you can just put on stretchy pants and relax. If that's something that you're interested in, the links for Black Friday Bankroll will be in the show notes below. If you have questions about any of this, you're always welcome to ask me in the comments. I would love to hear your questions, or you can email me intuitiveedgecoaching@gmail.com. If you want to sign up for Black Friday Bankroll, you can just go to intuitiveedgecoaching.com/BFBR, Black Friday Bankroll BFBR, and you'll find it there. But again, it's also going to be in the show notes. All right. That's it for me today. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Let me know your thoughts on the idea of structure creating softness.